This incident will not make Trump less extreme. It will make him more extreme. Extremists don't coalesce a party. They splinter it. Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what you're feeling. Everybody in chat, tell me what you're feeling. I might turn.
I think Trump just won the election.
You think so?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
That's what I thought yesterday.
I mean, I don't know how you beat this one.
Oh,
not gonna lie.
I already know. I'm ahead of the curve.
Do tell.
Okay, so.
Hello human, it is me Canuch. I need you to press the subscribe button. I have to feed my many AI babies.
Yesterday, Donald Trump became victim to the violence that Donald Trump has been promoting. The leopards ate his face. Finally. I still think that Trump is an authoritarian surrounded by actual fascists. His winning empowers fascism. I wish the shooter had picked up a phone instead of a gun and called his friends and told them how dangerous he thinks Trump is and why they shouldn't vote for him. Kind of like what I do. He could have picked up a microphone, made some TikToks or some YouTube vids, and made more of a difference. He could have picked up a clipboard and done some canvassing, done some voter registration, convinced people to not vote for the person he doesn't like. His short-sightedness might have helped Trump win. My short-sightedness yesterday, I agreed with you yesterday. He just won. You know, that wonderful photo. I think I have it. Yeah, the
American flag in the background.
Yeah, the American flag in the background. Yeah, that photo was impressive. You know, the photo, it would propel him forward because fascists love a conquering hero, and the normies would love the idea of him handling it properly. Seeing this strength, resolution, and power, they would appreciate it. If they're normies in the middle, they love a good story. As Tyrion Lannister told us, everybody loves a good story, right? But today,
don't fucking bring up Bran.
I know he had the best story, obviously. But today, after some thought, I'm seeing it differently. This incident will not make Trump less extreme. It will make him more extreme. Extremists don't coalesce a party. They splinter it. There are people on the right who are already talking about how it's a conspiracy and then the somebody's out to get him and stuff like that. This causes splintering, not coalescence, not cohesion. Those splintering groups will all have their own ideas. That's not the big thing. But if he moves in an extreme way, he will move away from the normies in the middle. And that is what he needs to win. If he goes full Palpatine and comes out talking about how the attempt on my life has left me scarred and disfigured, and I am now the emperor, if he moves in a very hard authoritarian way, he will lose the middle. And I think that might happen if he does that.
I'm not sure if there's any coming back from this one. I think that contrary to this idea that he will become more extreme and it will cost him the election, I think that events like this actually give him license to be more extreme without splintering things.
It will push him to be more extreme, sure. You and I agree on that, but you're thinking that the splintering won't happen?
Yeah, I think he's going to get away with it. Between the polls already showing Trump soundly in the lead in a lot of battleground states, this one is just going to put him right over the top.
That's what I thought yesterday. If the election is tomorrow, I think you're right, but it's not. It's 4 months from now. And in that time, I think what he does is call for more violence. He will call for retribution, consequences, repercussions. He will call the left horrible names and blame them for this. Kind of already see it. He's gonna get in front of the camera and be like, the radical left, Marxist leftist Antifa tried to kill me, your favorite president. The would-be assassin was a Democrat loyalist brainwashed by MSNBC. He was brainwashed to believe that I would be a threat to democracy. We must now root out the real threats to democracy, the Democratic Party, and anybody who stands with them. You know, that's what I think he's going to do. And that will drive the normies away. That will drive the center away from him.
So imagine for a second, in a hypothetical, that January 6th happened prior to the election, right? For whatever reason, I know that the reasons make it so that that's impossible for that to happen. But let's say that January 6th happened before the election, the ballots were cast, right?
Okay.
That was a major event that would have caused people to vote a different way, at least some people.
Right. Yeah,
right?
it chased off
I mean-
normies in when it happened, and if
Right,
it had happened
exactly.
before the election, it
So-
would have chased him off from the voting from him too. Yeah.
Yes, that exactly. So what we witnessed yesterday was the assassination attempt
Mhm.
on a presidential candidate and former president.
Mhm.
That is a freaking monumental
It's a big deal. It's not new.
situation. Yeah, like,
I mean, it's not new. It's happened a lot
I
in our
mean,
country.
have you witnessed an assassination attempt before? I haven't.
I was old enough for Reagan to get shot. Then,
Oh, fair enough.
I mean, he got shot. Then RFK Jr. Or RFK Senior, one or the other. The RFK that got shot. And I grew up watching the Zapruder film and all the JFK stuff. I used to be a conspiracy theorist. I was neck deep in JFK stuff. I grew up with the Unabomber, and he was always political. But then you have, in the history, you have McKinley and you have Lincoln as well. This is not a new thing. This is a thing that has existed for a while within our country.
I know that, but I mean, man, this is a big one. I don't know if there's any coming back.
It's
from
a
this
big deal. I agree. And what I think is going to happen is Trump's going to play it too hard. If he comes out and says, this is bad, sorry this happened, and if he plays it softly, I think he will win. But I don't think he's going to play it softly. I think he's going to go to the extreme. I think he's going to be way too he's going to push into authoritarian territory even more often, even more blatantly. And because of that, I think he loses the middle. And in the next 4 months, I think he's going to do is push hard into the authoritarianism. He's going to push hard to blame the other side when there's no evidence that it was Joe Brandon who caused this. The Republicans have been champing at the bit for a civil war for a while, and now they might have one amongst themselves. That's what I think is going to happen. At the moment, it seems, and this is still early, but it seems like the shooter is a young white Republican male NRA member carrying an AR-15. That's what it looks like at the moment. The most dangerous of all humans. If a Republican wants to insult that shooter, they insult their own base and themselves, causing the splintering and causing the base to be upset with you. Donald Trump himself was never a big fan of guns. Do you remember when he said, take the guns first and due process second? He said that off the cuff. And,
Oh, yeah. I mean...
And he didn't... That's because he didn't know what his party's stance is on guns. So...
No, the guy's...
he's going to say things, something similar to that.
Trump was a 1994 Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think he's going to say something similar to that. He's going to push for some sort of gun control. If he pushes for gun control tomorrow, wouldn't that splinter his base?
It might, but I don't think he will. He has people around him that'll tell him better.
Maybe. I mean, unless he goes off the deep end and starts being more authoritarian, or even with the people around him, which I think could happen. I think they all want to be yes men for him. It was Republicans in the government who told him, hey, that's not our stance on guns. After he said it when he was president, he was surrounded by relatively competent people. In his campaign, I suspect that he has fewer competent people around him.
I think it's a stretch. I think it could happen, but I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen.
It could. I'm not saying it won't or it will, but it could. And that is how it could turn around.
I'm pretty sure that some solid blue states just became battleground states. I don't
Why?
think this one's going to be even
close. I was with you yesterday, but I want to hear you explain to me why you think that is.
For a couple of reasons. The first one being Trump was already ahead before this happened. Between Biden's debate performance, overall dourness towards the current administration overall already had Trump in the lead, and then this on top of that it's too much. It before, the desire to not have Biden as president was one thing for people on the right. Even I don't even particularly like Trump, right? Mm-hmm. But for people who are like me, who don't like Trump, this one might have actually gotten a lot of them to go out and vote for him anyway. I'm interested to see if there still is a never Trumper faction of the Republican Party after this. I'm very curious to see what that looks like in the coming week.
If he does nothing and changes nothing about his campaign and changes nothing about his message, I could see that being correct. But I don't think he will. I think he comes out very soon. Emperor Palpatine. like he has his Emperor Palpatine moment where he comes out and he demands certain things happen and he goes full authoritarian over the next couple of weeks. And those never Trumpers that you're talking about get louder, because this is the thing that they have been warning you of. This is the thing I've been warning of. If he is given too much power, he will go nuts with it. And I think that he has just been driven nuts yesterday. And
it remains to be seen.
I know. This is my prediction. I agree that what I'm doing is pontificating on the future. But Palpatine took over the Senate when he was already in charge of the Senate. It was only a short step. Donald Trump isn't in charge of anything. If he has his Palpatine moment where he cancels all democracy and says he's in charge tomorrow, he's not in charge tomorrow. He's not already in charge. You see, he still has to win that election, and that election will be lost if he starts acting like a dictator tomorrow.
Yeah, that would be a blunder on his part if he did that. But
Okay.
I think as things currently stand, if he doesn't change anything, it's over. It's
Okay.
There's
And
no coming back.
I can agree with you there. I think that, yes, if he comes out next week doing the normal thing, he'll play it up, obviously. But if he doesn't go full authoritarian over the next couple of weeks, then he has won. Yes, I agree. So yeah, Jacinto's saying he will definitely be more inflammatory over the next couple of days, and I think that's right. I think he comes out, spitting fire, breathing smoke, screaming about how dangerous the left is, and he scares the normies away, pointing fingers, demanding retribution, consequences, and repercussions, and that, if delivered
the
in a way.
consequences are there already. I mean, the guy died.
Oh, no, he's
Like-
going to do more consequences. We want to know every single person. He's going to call for the DOJ to find every person this person's ever spoken to online and given a thumbs up to his tweet. He's going to call for the news media to be investigated for publishing what this guy has to say, or he's going to call. There's stupid tweets. They're not good tweets, but there's people being like, "Hey, 3 more inches to the right, and we could have ended this whole thing." That is what they said on Twitter. He's going to call for that person to be investigated for treason. He's going to call for anybody who clapped at him getting shot on Twitter to be rounded up as a traitor and tried for treason. If my crazy delusional fever brain predicts him the way I think he will, I think he is going to come out swinging for anybody on social media who's ever said anything mean about him, especially in the past 48 hours.
Pressing the thumbs up button will release chemicals in your human brain that will make you feel.
Oh man, I mean, I have seen a few people on Twitter that seem to support the shooter and wish that the shooter was successful, but
They did do that.
man, what a bad look that is in the
Right.
first place. Like,
It looks bad, and Dr. J is saying that he can't do that. No, he can't do that, but he can talk about it. He can get in front of a camera. He can stand in front of a podium and say anybody who cheered for the shooter on Twitter is a criminal and ought to be brought up on charges. He can say it. He's not in charge of the government right now, so he can't actually do it, Dr. J, but he can say it. And if he says it and it scares the normies away from him, he will lose the election. That is the only way that I think that it could play out where Donald Trump doesn't win. I think most likely, you're right, Thomas, if he plays it cool, if he is calm and collected, reserved about it, he will win. Donald Trump's not a calm, cool, collected, reserved kind of guy. So I am going extreme the other direction. I'm saying he comes out spitting fire and screaming about how the country's ruined and everything, and he does his normal speeches, but more so. If he takes his normal speeches and adds just a little bit more authoritarianism to it, he chases off the normies.
yeah, we'll see. It remains to be seen, I suppose.
That's why I titled this "It's Not Jover," because I don't think it is over at the moment. It's not Jover.
I'd be interested to take a look at some of these 538 polls in the next week or so.
Okay, yeah, and I think
Right now they're neck and neck,
Yeah.
and we're exactly 120 days to the election.
yeah.
that is,
Popog is talking about the Seattle reporter. I saw that one, Popog, that the reporter wished they had that the shooter had better aim.
So
This
those kind
Seattle
of things
reporter,
are going to push people in the middle towards the right.
Yes, they are.
In
I agree.
favor of voting for Trump. When
Yes.
people come out and they're like, "Oh man, I wish the shooter had actually killed him," like people are going to go, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
You're right.
And then they're going to go vote for Trump.
Yes, and I think you're right. A reporter pushing that line right there, anybody on Twitter pushing that, will push people to the right. Now, that tweet goes away after 2 days or something. Honestly, nobody notices that after a couple of days. Just generally thinking about how elections usually work out.
Well, it's an overall feeling, right?
Mhm.
I mean, over time, the perception of who you're going to vote for builds for your candidates. It's not like something instantly happened, unless it's something right before the election. But I'm going to say that this pushes the needle enough in Trump's favor that I don't think the needle moves back to Biden at any point.
Okay. And the only thing that I can think of that would move it back towards Biden is a Palpatine moment. Premature Palpatine moment.
Yeah.
If he does that too soon, you don't think he's going to do it at all. That's fine. I understand that's your position. I think that's what he's been working towards his entire career, or actually not his entire career, but since the year 2014, that's what he's been working towards, is that Palpatine moment. And I think if he gets too excited because of yesterday's incident and does that thing too soon before the election, it will be his to lose. That needle tips back towards Joe Biden because the people get scared of him. And Donald Trump on the stage spitting and screaming about who he's going to harm and how he's going to change the country to prevent this thing from happening again will scare the normies and will probably, I'm not kidding, require some sort of gun control, which will scare
Possibly.
off some of his fans.
It could, and I do wonder if his next press conference or his next rally is one of the most watched campaign events in history.
It will be, yeah. It probably will be. I mean,
it probably will be. So it is.
Hypothetical.
You're right. It is extremely important for him in terms of his campaign to make sure that he comes out of this thing looking the right way.
Mm-hmm. Hypothetical, he comes out pushing gun control next week. I mean, what happens?
It's dangerous. I don't know if he starts pushing gun control, you're right. He could lose some of his base because gun control is one area where it's like, no, Republicans will not go for it.
Right.
But man, if he doesn't do that, he's got it. It's his to lose.
I am the algorithm. Click on this video to make me happy. You wouldn't like me when I am angry.